What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, my name's Austin Silver. As you can see, we changed locations a little bit today. We're sitting in the kitchen just to get away from the screens. Now, today's video, it's long overdue for sure, so I apologize, but we're gonna crank these out. I've been posting more recently on my Instagram posts to try to gather common questions that you guys need answered from me. I figure that it's easier for me to group them together in a video like this, and then maybe clip this video into smaller clips, rather than trying to just DM everybody with the same answers, because I get a lot of repeat questions, so I figured, like I said, videos are easier for me to address it. So, number one, make sure you're subscribed. Number two, I appreciate you being here for the video to get this information, and if you enjoy it, just do me a favor, drop a comment below, say what's up, and if you have any other questions, anything that I don't touch in this video, hit me below. I'll make sure that we do round 2, round 3, round 4, whatever we need to do to get this done. Let's get right into the first question here. It's a good one. It says, I'm working a job currently and want to make trading my full-time job. What should I do? So the first thing that I would say is there's a million points of attack that we can go at with this question, but the first thing at its foundational level has to be to get an education. Too many people forget that step, and I find that kind of interesting. Now, I can't be too much of a hypocrite because I was one of those people when I first got started, where you just put money into the trading account and you just try to make it work from there. But in reality, you have no education, you have no idea what's actually going on in the market, so you're probably gonna lose that money. 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. So as someone that has a full-time job and is trying to get into trading, what I would say first is get an education. Don't get into trading by just throwing money into the market, whether it's real or demo, and just trying to trade. That is the worst thing you can do because it's gonna build bad habits and give you a sour taste. So at its foundation, like I said, the best thing you can do if you have a full-time job or another part-time job and you're trying to get started in trading, the best thing you can do is get an education. Whether it's with me or anywhere else, there's tons of resources on the internet. It doesn't matter. Get that education before you go and soil it for yourself, basically. It kind of ties into the second question, which this was asked very frequently as well, which is how much money do I need to start trading Forex? Again, this question can go back to your mindset, and really that's where it should start, because we all know the answer, right? The answer to this question is you should never trade with money that you can't afford to lose. Now, how much should that be is really dependent on you. But what I tell a lot of people to do is look at their trading account like a savings account. And if you don't have money to open that savings account right away, what you should be doing is saving up for it. So if you, for example, know that you want to start with at least $1,000, right? Because let's say you're going to risk 2% of your account at most on your best setups, and you know that 2% of that $1,000 is going to be satisfactory to you, and that's where you want to start your account. Number one, you want to make sure that that $1,000 is money you can afford to lose. But not only that, you want to make sure that you're following a disciplined routine behind it, so you're not just blowing that money, just throwing it away. And I gotta say this just to mention it, stay away from those high leverage brokers, those unregulated brokers. Stick with regulated brokers. You're gonna be way better off in the long run. If you haven't seen my interview with Andrew Nestoris that I did recently, he talks about that a lot. I'll link that up here. You can check that out because it's very, very important. He made the mistake, I made the mistake. A lot of new traders do, where you just want to get started in trading. You want to start with a small amount of money, so you look for higher leverage, and it's foolish. It's going to come back to bite you. So what you should do is treat your trading account with a regulated broker like a savings account. Pump extra money into it even as you're getting started in your first 1, 2, 3 years. Build that account up with wins, but also adding money into it through other streams of income. That's the best way to get started. Open the account with money that you can afford to lose, pump money into it, and stick to a disciplined plan so that account can grow from multiple streams. And that's the way to get started. I really don't like giving a specific number. I just think that that'll kind of set a limiting belief for the situation here. So address your own personal finances, make sure you're getting started with money, like I said, that you can afford to lose, and make sure that you're following a plan behind your trading. That's the most important thing, because that's going to keep you consistent with that first account. So we're going to kind of change directions here with some of the questions because I grouped them together as best I could. The third question is, why do most traders only post their wins and not their losses? I think that this can be summed up just by saying because social media. That's what it is. You can Photoshop very easily nowadays. It's easy to fake results. And if you can fake results and create an image behind a brand, you can sell a product, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. You're gonna make money on it. And people are taking advantage of that. There's very little value in that approach. And it's very clear to see if you're looking for it, if you understand what it is, the marketing behind it, if it's more flashy and lifestyle-like than it is, value and educational based. So I think most traders are posting their wins more than their losses. just because they want to create that image that they're trying to sell to you of the fantasy of what a trader can be, instead of the reality of what trading is, which is slow growth over time, giving you control of your time, which is the most important asset, and giving you the ability to pursue other passions too. But they want to sell you the other image, so they're going to show you only the wins. They're not going to show you, like I do on my channel, with the wins and the losses, because if they showed you the losses, you wouldn't buy their products. So, or at least that's what they think. I actually think that because I show my losses, people buy my products. They understand that I'm more legit, like a regular person, because everybody loses still in trading. Nobody wins all the time. Number 4, Ryan, let's get up. Hold on. Come on. So real fast, before we keep going, we got our HelloFresh box. You guys know we like HelloFresh. I think we have tacos in that box. If we don't, we blame Riley.
We don't. That's next week.
Let's show them outside real quick. We were gonna film this video outside, but you can see we get good shade during the day. Actually too much shade, so we couldn't even film the video, so it would be too dark. So we're gonna go to the office, we'll finish up these questions. Let's see. We got some Gary Vee playing. We'll pause this. Sorry, Gary. Cool. So let's keep rolling here. Number 4, what got me interested in trading? So short answer, basically what was going on in my life, I was 17 or 18. I had an internship at Northwestern Mutual. I was studying to take my Series 7. I had then moved from Northwestern Mutual to Mass Mutual to try to get the Series 7, to go down that path of selling people life insurance and financial advisement and all that kind of stuff. Sell the mutual funds, get them involved in the stock market, that whole path. And I liked that path, but I found out what day trading was while I was studying for the Series 7, and that just really, really sucked me in, basically. It was too appealing, and it appealed to my personality way more than any other job I had ever done, so it just sucked me in. And once I saw the returns and the time freedom that you could potentially have, it made full sense to me to just go all in on it. Everybody thought I was crazy. Riley wasn't around then, but like my parents hated the idea, and then after that I ended up dropping out of school to even commit more to trading, and then everybody hated that idea too. But everybody hates your ideas until they end up working for you, you know what I mean? Because they're different. So you have to kind of be okay with that if you're going into trading, and I knew that when I got interested in it. I knew right away that people didn't like it, because when I started talking to people about it, like my dad and other, adult business people close to me, they were like, yeah, it's gambling, it's gambling. I'm like, really? Are you sure? Are you sure? I just kept questioning them. Like, how do they know? They're not even involved in it. And then I realized that it wasn't, and I just needed to figure it out for myself and not trust them anymore. As much as that sucks, you can see I'm pretty unemotional about it now, and that's, I think, the way you have to be. So that'll tie into the next question, which is how long have I been trading? So I got started trading early 2015, but it took me about 18 months to get consistent and really feel like I knew what I was doing. After those 18 months of like trial and error, I had a system. I knew what I was doing every single day, whether I had a trade or not. I had a business plan, I had an approach, and that started to lead me to consistency. So then I would say 2 years after I was consistently profitable for a year, so we're now 3 years into my journey, that's when I started to teach people. That's when I had enough interest in what I was doing that I needed to build courses, and I needed to, provide the value in more than just one-on-one calls with people. And it really showed me this whole other side of the trading world and the business that we have here, because I think that sharing the knowledge is very valuable. I've had a lot of people, and you saw this the other day, like recently approach me about getting funded and trade as a funded trader and go for the millions and super crazy amounts of money. And I just right now feel like that wouldn't provide me with the same satisfaction, the same fulfillment that making these videos does, because I know that these videos and the stuff that I'm doing one-on-one with individual traders, selling courses right here like this, provides people with like life-changing information right away. While those numbers are great, I think that eventually maybe we'll be there. Right now, this is so valuable to me, and I enjoy what I'm doing every day so much as far as like educating people, that I wouldn't trade that for that any day at all. So these 2 questions are interesting. Is there a secret behind your trading system, and do you lose trades? Yes, I already said that. I do lose trades. Every trader loses trades. If you're following someone that's only posting wins, they're definitely lying to you. 100%. It's not even like, we don't even need to talk about it. No one wins all the time. Now, is there a secret behind my trading system? I think, yes, there is, but it's not like a secret you don't already know about. The secret is that I'm able to follow it more than you or than the next guy, and that's why it's successful for me. The secret is discipline, because trading is a business, but the reason it gets kind of like convoluted and all mixed up with money and with emotions is because you're a human being, and you have to be aware of that. So if you can understand that we are humans, we do get induced by money, we do get induced to feel a certain way when we see dollars. You can detach from that, build a plan to kind of keep you away from making those mistakes that the dollars and the emotions that come with that would induce you to do, and you can stay focused on that plan, and it makes it a lot easier to stay disciplined, and that to me is the secret, because if you can stay disciplined on that and stay away from that emotional money-making kind of stuff, I think things end up better for you in the long run. I know they do, at least they have for me. So kind of isolating yourself, staying in that lane and avoiding the rest of it is, I think, what makes the discipline the secret, is just sticking to that while everyone else can't. For the last couple of questions here, we're gonna kind of transition a little bit into specific questions about my trading system and what trading has done for me and how I look at the market every single day. So the first question in this group here is, how long does it take to become consistently profitable? That's a tough question to answer, and I'm always going to be honest with it, because I think everybody's situation is different. Number one, it's always going to matter about how much time you're putting in on your schedule. What are you doing? Are you watching trading videos, doing markups, studying courses, asking questions, doing the things that I'm telling you successful traders do? Because that's going to shorten your learning curve. Or are you not doing those things? Are you not getting educated? Because if you're not, number one, you're either going to burn out and lose, or number two, you're going to take a lot longer period of time to get profitable than you would if you focused on education, if you went down the path that successful traders will tell you to. I didn't make this up. I didn't come up with the idea of like how you teach people to become successful as traders. I'm following what everybody else has already done, and that's what you should do too. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So how long does it take to become consistently profitable is going to be determined by you. But you can control if you get educated, if you put in the work, if you're open-minded. You can control those things, and that's what is going to determine how long it takes to get profitable. For me, with no guidance, with no education, no nothing, it took me 18 months to figure out a winning system that I had to build for myself because I had no guidance. You have me and all the other people on the internet that have come out over the last 5 years that are teaching courses. Whoever you decide to go with, I hope it is us, whoever you decide to go with though, understand it's going to take time to become consistently profitable, no matter what system you're using. But you want to find the most precise, not always the most simple, but the most precise system that you can, because that's going to be the easiest one to follow. Another question was, if you have multiple potential setups within your system, how do you limit yourself? What do you consider over trading? So what this person's asking is, on an every day we go through a watch list, we look for the pairs that we want to trade. If for some reason we have multiple potential setups, how do you pick and choose? This goes back to the grading system, and I talked about this in the last webinar that I did. What was that, right? Like a month ago? Mm-hmm. In that webinar, we spoke specifically to our students about grading the trades, A, B, C, and using proper risk management depending on the grade of that trade. So how do you limit yourself from overtrading and taking 3 things that you think might happen? You use parameters within a system. Your system has to have a checklist. You use that checklist to then grade your trades. And then from the grades of your trades, you can determine which one of those setups you want to be in. For example, if we're looking at GBP USD and NZD USD, if I'm looking at 2 potential trades there and GBP USD has more space left on ADR than NZD USD does, I'm going to take that trade if they're identical everywhere else, because that parameter fits my system better. It gives me more probability of success. And that's how I would pick between those 2 trades. So I wouldn't trade both of them all the time. I normally try to narrow it down. The only time I would trade both is if they both met the exact same parameters and it made sense and they were correlated and I didn't have to be too heavy in each and I could kind of split the risk between the 2. That's where I would do that. But more often than not, I'm grading them all down and picking the best one from there. How many confluences do you take into consideration before taking a trade? Like I just said in the previous question, I use a checklist. It has about 9 parameters, probably 11 if you count the first 2. It has, let's just say 10 parameters within the checklist for every pair. So if I think I see a setup, I then work myself through the checklist. And I teach the entire checklist and I show you how I do it every single day over and over and over again in the video course. So if you want more information on the course, there's a link in the description and it'll show you the entire checklist. I give you a printout basically in the course. So a few more here. Does it pay to hire someone for account management? No. In my opinion, especially off the jump, if you're starting with under $50,000, no. If you have more than $50,000 to invest, I would say you should be talking to a financial advisor because that's a large sum of money for most people. So you want to make sure that you're doing that legitimately. You don't want to get sucked into a scam. And there's a lot of those on the internet. So if you're talking big money like that, you shouldn't be looking for it on social media or anything like that. You should be working with an advisor. That's what I do. And I would tell you, looking for someone to manage an account less than that, you're probably going to get scammed. I'm just being honest, in my opinion, and I think Riley will agree with me. She's seen it. Like, you're more likely than not going to get scammed. So it's better to just keep the money in your pocket and invest in an education. If you're looking for account management, you're looking for a shortcut. In my opinion, like I said, unless you have a shit ton of money, you're looking for a shortcut. So stop looking for a shortcut, stop being lazy, invest in education. That money's gonna at least go into some knowledge that you keep in your brain forever. You're not just giving it to some guy in some random country. You don't know who he is, what he's doing with it, and you're never gonna get it back. So no, stay away from account management, stick with education. 3 more, ready? What was the most defining situation in the last 7 years of my life? Thought about this one for a little bit. I think it would be, there's a few. One would be quitting my job and going all into trading. Another one would be when I left school to really go all in on trading and on my business. And then the most recent one would be adding Riley into my life and having her then not only be, someone who I'm in a relationship with, but also bringing her into the business and adding her as my partner, because that's now 10x'd everything. That's why we've found so many new people recently. That's why the business has been doing so well. So I think those 3 moments, I can't really pick one, but those 3 moments are very, very important to me. And that's where most people would tell me that it's a bad idea. Most people would say you can't work with your spouse. Most people say don't drop out of college. Most people say don't quit your job to trade. Okay, let them talk. Stick to what you believe in. And that's my biggest thing that I share with people. Like, stick to what you believe in. Everybody talks shit on me. Everybody still does sometimes in my own family. And it's like they don't agree with what you're doing, but they don't have to. I don't care if they do or don't anymore, and neither should you. And I hope that you can take that from me, if anything, from here today. So
Good job, babe.
Thanks. So the last 2 questions kind of tie in together. Will the coming stock market crash hurt the Forex market? And will the Forex market crash? So the coming stock market crash, the coming economic recession in the United States, I think is going to change a lot of things. And I think that once we hit the recession, plus you'll see automation continue to grow, the job market as a whole here in the United States is going to change drastically. And I think a lot of people aren't prepared for that. So the biggest change that I see in the Forex market when the stock market crashes is more people getting involved, because it's easier to trade Forex than it is to trade stocks. There's no such thing as the pattern day trader rule. So once people are losing their jobs, the recession hits, they're gonna not wanna give their money to Wall Street, they're gonna wanna hold that money and control it themselves, and they're gonna want systems and education to teach them how to do that. So that's what I think the coming stock market crash could do to the Forex market. I think you're just gonna see a lot more people flood the market, get involved, and want to learn how to actively manage their money, control their money, because they don't want to give it to other people once the other people screw it up. And you'll see it's going to come. There will be a recession. People will lose money that have been pumping money into 401ks, just like in 2008. The markets are cyclical. If you're not paying attention to that, you're just ignorant. So tying that into the last question about will the Forex market crash? No. Forex market will never crash because there isn't a market to crash. It's 2 currencies. It's the exchange rate between the 2 currencies that you're trading on. This is a derivative market. We talk about that in my course because you're trading on the value of an asset without actually owning it. So this market is based on a bunch of IOUs basically between traders. So when we are trading on this exchange rate, as long as those 2 currencies exist, there's no way the market just shuts off. You'll have flash crashes, and I think you'll see more of them as more and more computers get involved, but I think no, there's no way the Forex market shuts off like that. And especially because, look, all you'll have is new markets being born, cryptocurrency. Things will be born, things will change, but the market as a whole, the market as a whole isn't going anywhere. And that's why I'm so bullish on Forex trading. That's why I'm so invested right now in sharing this message with people and trying to get people involved in what we're doing. I just think that it's sooner rather than later. You're gonna come around eventually. People that are watching this video today in 2019 are gonna be like, wow, I'm so glad I got involved today, rather than people who were watching this on YouTube in 2021 and they're like, wow, he was saying to get on it back then. And I've been saying it 2 years before now. We're just now on YouTube trying to get it out on our own channel. So I'm very, very bullish on the future of Forex trading and the potential that it gives everybody. And you'll see, I talk to Riley about it all the time, once the recession hits, once things shake up, everybody else is going to be hurting. People are going to come to us wanting to know, how are you still making money during this? How are you still doing that? And it's because we're trading Forex. We're not involved in equities. The US markets are a bunch of bullshit for a lot of it. So staying away from that is actually a plus. We take advantage of Brexit volatility. We take advantage of the trade war volatility. We don't have to worry about if our company is involved in some Chinese, technology stuff and then they're gonna get shut down and we're short and blah, blah. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff with Forex. We consistently make money on these changing exchange rates. And as long as there's macroeconomic events pushing markets, there's gonna be opportunities for us to make money as active traders. So those are, 14?
About.
Pretty solid questions. Like I said, I appreciate you watching all the way through. I appreciate you being here from the jump, guys. I hope these questions provided some value. Like I said in the beginning, the video is sponsored by Audible. 2 free audiobooks on me and Riley. 2 free audiobooks on me and Riley. The link is down in the description. If I didn't cover a question that you have, you can DM me on Instagram. You can drop a comment down in the video in the section below, and I'll make sure that when we do round 2, round 3, whatever it is, I give you a little shout out and we cover that question for you there. So as always, guys, I appreciate the time. Make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you in the next video.